Here are some anime characters who can't control their power. Coming on number 10. Noelle Silver from Black Clover. Noelle Silver comes from a royal bloodline of talented magic knights and possesses a large amount of magical power. But, Noelle just can't hold herself together when it comes to her water magic. Despite such a nobility, she has a difficult time controlling it and her skills need a lot of polishing. Even when she first meets Asta and Magna, she loses control of her powers and creates a giant sphere of water which wreaks havoc in the area. The impact was so strong that it can even shake the entire seabed temple. It was Noelle's inability to control her magic which resulted in her being shunned by her elite royal family. Coming on number 9. Tony Chopper from One Piece. Chopper joined the crew of Luffy as a doctor who was initially an ordinary reindeer but gained the ability to transform into a human after eating the human fruit. Though his human reindeer hybrid form is not much of a problem and provides him with great intelligence still, it has its own consequences. Sometimes, Chopper's transformations are not within his control, especially when he eats a special kind of drug called rumble balls to increase his fighting powers. The overdose turns him into an uncontrollable monster that destroys everything around him, and it was seen during his battle against Kumadori at Eni's lobby. Coming on number 8. Rin Okamura from Blue Exorcist. Rin has access to his father's demonic flames which are sealed within the demon-slaying sword Karakara, and by unsheathing it, Rin can use the full power of his blue flames. But, prolonged use of blue flames puts him at risk of being consumed by his own power. During his second confrontation with the Demon King Amaimon, Rin unleashes his flames to save his classmates. Unfortunately, his power overwhelms him, turning him feral and causing him to lash out and incinerate his surroundings. While Rin has taken steps to control this side of himself, there are times when he can't. Coming on number 7. Chuya Nakahara from Bungo Stray Dogs. Nakahara Chuya possesses a wonderful ability like Upon the Tainted Sorrow, that allows him to manipulate gravity, create gravitons, and make changes to the gravity of his surroundings. Besides, this ability has a true form called Corruption, which is exceedingly dangerous. This allows him to manipulate the gravitons around him, and by increasing his own density, he is capable of crushing a tank with his bare hands. It's basically a much stronger version of his usual technique. But, the thing that makes it so dangerous is that he has no control over it whatsoever. He will destroy everything in sight and will continue in that state until he passes away from exhaustion or his ability gets nullified. Coming on number 6. Naofumi Iwatani from Rising of Shield Hero. Naofumi took a different path in this bizarre world and tried to survive amid the demon outbreaks. As the representative of the Shield Hero, Naofumi acquired a lot of abilities during his venture. While he managed to accumulate an impressive collection of shields during his brief time, there's one that Naofumi is totally incapable of controlling, and that is the Shield of Wrath. When he uses this shield, he can counter enemy attacks with an evil flame that creates burns. However, he also gets consumed by the emotions of hate and rage, which eventually corrupts Naofumi's mind. So, he only uses it in extreme conditions. Coming on number 5. Izuku Midoriya from My Hero Academia. Being the main protagonist of a popular shonen series, the life of Midoriya has always been very odd. First, he was born with no powers in a world where 80% of the population has a special power called quirk. Later, he somehow inherited the powers from his superhero idol All Might, but eventually wasn't able to constrain it, making himself one of the few anime characters who can't fully control their power. Midoriya's One for All quirk has adverse effects on his body. He must be in peak physical condition to be instantly not crushed by it. Still, it's no guarantee that his quirk will not turn his bones into pulp. Though his control increases with training, he tried his best to use his abilities by consistent practice and enduring severe pain every time. Coming on number 4. Gon from Hunter x Hunter. During the fight with Neferpitou, Gon was able to summon all the power he could by forming a vow in a condition of emotional distress. The results were pretty explosive, as his physical strength, nen abilities, aura output and aura reserves increased immensely. However, the price to pay was immeasurable. After Gon returned to his normal body, he fell into a coma. His body soon started to decay, requiring constant life support, and he would have eventually died if not for Nanika's intervention. Coming on number 3. Shigeo Kageyama from Mob Psycho 100. Mob was born with supernatural psychic powers which enabled him to do a variety of things. At a very young age, he learned that his powers were too strong to leave unchecked and would result in other people being harmed. While he's typically able to manage his abilities, they get out of control when he's overwhelmed by negative emotions. When it happens, he loses his control and turns into a maniac, destroying everything in his vision. He becomes so overpowered that taking him down is almost impossible, which is why he must limit his powers as long as he can. Coming on number 2. Might from Naruto. 8 Inner Gates is one such ability often used by the teacher-student duo of Might Guy and Rock Lee. The 8 Inner Gates is a taijutsu technique that involves opening up the chakra pathways in a person's body. Normally, these are blocked because too much power being unleashed at once is potentially fatal. Each time a gate is removed, the user is badly injured. While unlocking gates 1 through 5 results in a rush of power, the opening of the 8th gate temporarily grants enough force to even damage someone as fearsome as Madara. However, anyone who uses the 8th gate, also called the Gate of Death, must sacrifice their life in exchange. Coming on number 1. Omotokita from Kengan Ashura. Possessing Spirit is a powerful power-boosting technique used by Omotokita from Kengan Ashura. The Possessing Spirit involves overclocking of heartbeat that causes a shift in personality to where the user can eventually become a mindless berserker. Its side effects include blood vessel damage, cerebral hemorrhaging, acute memory loss and confusion, visual and auditory hallucinations, and eventually heart failure and death. Another noted flaw is the increased rate of blood loss due to its inherent function. This means that even a deep yet single wound would be enough to kill its user if it isn't deactivated. Because of its effects, it is usually used as a trump card. Thanks for watching and subscribe the channel.